welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be testing out actually two different powder foundations, neither of which I have tried before. I'm going to be comparing them because they both recently came out and I want to see if a cheaper version is just as good or even better than the alternative higher end version. So let me introduce the products. First, I have the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation. This comes in 50 shades and is $36. I got it in the shade 150, which is like a light neutral. And so this is what it looks like on the inside. It's got the F and B, Fenty Beauty, engraved, and it comes with a little puff and a mirror. I really like the packaging on this one. I just think Fenty Beauty's packaging is just pretty in general. I have never actually tried any Fenty Beauty foundations, neither of the liquid ones or anything. So I'm a Fenty Beauty foundation virgin, I guess. So I'm gonna be trying that out and I'm gonna be comparing it to the L'Oreal Infallible Freshwear Powder Foundation. This one comes in only 16 shades, so that's a significant difference there, but it is only $11.99. I got this in the shade Ivory. So both of these claim to have full coverage. This one claims to have a light as air finish, natural look, and matte, and also feel like it's not on your skin. This one also claims to be matte and really not feel like anything on your skin. So we're gonna be jumping into that. What I'm gonna be testing is to see if this one is just as good as this one, since they're very similar in descriptions. Of course, if you are darker skin tone or even an extremely light skin tone, you might wanna check this one out because it does come in 50 shades, whereas this one only comes in 16, and I still don't understand why some companies do that. Just release a lot of different shades because it will bring in more customers anyway. But whatever. I'm gonna be testing it out with my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, which we'll get to in the application process. So yes, let's just go ahead and get to the application so you can see how it applied on my skin. I went ahead and put concealer on, obviously, because I'm putting on powder foundation. So I didn't wanna like put liquid over powder, you know, the cardinal rule. So I do have concealer on and nothing else is covered, so I look really crazy right now. Now let's get into the actual products. I have, of course, like I've already said, the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation and then the L'Oreal Infallible Freshwear. I wanted to try these at the same time because I figured if they're very similar, then you don't need to spend the money on this one. I did the best I could on the colors. They were both online. They kind of look the same on camera, but this one's a little bit different than this one. This one looks a little pinkier and this one maybe looks a little bit more neutral. And I don't know if they're gonna match my arms. They look like it, but I think it might be a little light, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna be using, by the way, two different e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brushes for obviously the two different foundations, and I'm gonna do one on one side and then one on the other side. I think I'm gonna do the Fenty Beauty one on my right side over here, and then the L'Oreal one on, of course, my left side. So I'm gonna start off with the Fenty Beauty one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and mess up the pretty engraving. I love this packaging, by the way. The L'Oreal one, that's how most of their powders are, but this packaging is just really sleek and pretty. In case you're wondering, it does, of course, come with a puff, and I believe so does the L'Oreal one. Yeah, they both do, but I'm not using the puff. Go ahead and get some on there and just start applying it to my face. It's not really doing anything. Is it doing anything? It doesn't look like it's doing anything. When I think of a powder foundation, I think of a foundation in a powder form that I don't have to apply onto other foundation. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be doing that. It's not really covering anything. My favorite powder foundation, by the way, is the J-Cat one. I'll try to put a picture of it on the screen. It's not covering anything. Oh no. I really did need it to cover. It's definitely mattifying it, but it's not covering anything. Oh no. I haven't watched any other videos on this, by the way, so I have no idea like what people think of it. But it's not even covering like any marks. It's just like making it matte. Oh gosh. My J-Cat one covers, like, it has pretty full coverage. It's just changing the color of my skin. I hope that you guys can see this. I'll definitely do a shot in natural lighting too. I've got like acne scars. Like, as we know, I have problematic skin and I scar very easily. and this doesn't seem to be covering it at all. This is not what I was expecting. Seriously, when I think powder foundation, I feel like it's supposed to be a foundation in a powder format. It's not covering. Like, it's just kind of clinging to all of my dry patches. I will say my skin's a little bit drier right now than it normally is because I'm using retinol, and I recently started it like recent enough to where it's still kind of trying to adjust. So I do have more dry patches than normal, plus it's the winter time. This isn't covering anything. It's not covering anything. Oh goody. The one time I choose to wear makeup. I've put on, I feel like 15,000 layers of this, and yet the coverage has not really improved. Like, it's kind of blurring some pores. It's already falling into a smile line over here that I didn't really know I had. If you want a natural coverage thing, then I would say go for this. If you don't have much to cover, like, this would be just like a nice thing to kind of even out your skin tone. Like, it does do a pretty good job of that, but like not actually covering anything. Do you see? Like, I even have like a pimple under here from my mask, a scar over here, and a pimple over here. That's a hormonal pimple. Medium to full coverage. I would have to disagree. I would have to say this is light to medium, maybe just light coverage. No matter how much I put on, it doesn't seem to matter. It's not really doing anything, except for just putting more makeup on. You see though, like, it's clinging to this dry patch. It's not covering any of these marks I have. It's not even covering the little freckle I have over here. So the only thing it seems to be doing is like kind of blurring my skin and mattifying it. But that's it. I really hope the L'Oreal one is better, especially for the price, but especially because this is not good. So I'm gonna take a clean Ultimate blending brush and just go into this one. This also has a pretty engraving, and I'm just gonna like get it on the brush and hope that, oh, there's more kickback on this one. Hope that there's more coverage. This one's messier, but so is the J-Cat one, and that one has pretty good coverage once you build it up. Doesn't have super great coverage yet. This one's definitely a slightly different color. I mean, I do have an extra light over here. I'm still trying to figure out the lighting, and it's a rainy day. Of course, the first day that I'm trying to record, it's a rainy day. This side seems to be pulling a little bit less pink than this side. I'm gonna show you in natural lighting too, because I'm having to use a lot of artificial light with the fact that it's so rainy. This one has more kick up than the Fenty one. It seems to have slightly more coverage, barely slightly though. And like, I've got these two scars here and it's not really covering those. I might try the puffs here in a second on both of them and see if that's the way to do it. Because so far, and I normally use a brush. I never use like the puff that comes with it to apply powder foundation. I have like this really bad dry patch right here. It does seem to have maybe slightly more coverage than this side because I put like 20 layers on over here and I put like 3 or 4 over here. I mean, approximately. The color's okay. Both of the colors are okay, but they're definitely slightly different from each other. I'm gonna revisit the Fenty Beauty one and take this puff out. And I'm just gonna apply it directly to the puff and see if maybe I get more coverage like that. I definitely seem to be getting more coverage like that. I don't know if you can kind of tell, like, it's definitely still showing through a little bit, but I feel like because it's more concentrated, it's kind of just covering more. Of course, I am applying this over already applied makeup, but it did apply it like in a more concentrated way. So it seems to be kind of covering more. Still don't love it. It's awfully dry feeling. Once again, I do have some dry patches because of retinol. So there is that. Of course, that will cling because it's a powder foundation. I mean, that looks much better. It's still a little bit dry looking. I'll have to show it to you more in a second. when I'm standing like in front of a window. But it does seem to cover just slightly more. You can still see some imperfections coming through, but it's not as bad as it was with just a brush. So let me try the L'Oreal one with the puff it comes with and just see if maybe that helps. This is the L'Oreal one. You can kind of see how this one's a little bit more pink and this one's a little bit more neutral to yellow, just based on like looking at the puff. So you can kind of see that. This does have more coverage with the puff as well. I feel like the L'Oreal one had more coverage than the Fenty Beauty one did off the bat. Not much more, but like it took less layers to build up to the coverage I had with the Fenty Beauty one with like, I think I had like at least 15 layers, I have to be honest, because I kept dipping it in and trying to make it work. But this one also seems to have more coverage if you go in with a puff. Like I look a little bit more evened out now. All right, so I'm looking like up close in the mirror. I, of course, like I've said, do have some dry patches over here and under here. That's very common with retinol. But the coverage is all right. I'm leaning more pinky on this side for sure than I am on this side, which is a little bit more neutral. And I have more of a neutral undertone just for reference. It does look pretty powdery. So if you were to go in with it, I'm not going to for the sake of the wear test, but I would definitely go in with like, you know, a setting spray or something like that to kind of bring back some life because it's very flat matte. And if that is your kind of thing, then I think you would like this. However, I do like just a little bit more life to my skin. In terms of the shade, I like the Fenty Beauty shade more than the L'Oreal shade. I think that the L'Oreal one takes less to build up. Of course, I've mentioned that. So I'm gonna put on some bronzer real quick and finish up my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and do just a brief rundown of both of them, and then we're gonna go about the day, and I'm gonna do wear tests with you. All right, so I have everything else on, so it looks a little bit more complete. I do have significant dry patches around my mouth. That's not really foundation's fault. Foundation's with an S apostrophe, I think. But they are clinging to it, of course. Powder foundations normally do. The shades aren't perfect. I was kind of noticing that in the bathroom. They're almost kind of washing me out a little bit. So this lipstick looks different now than it normally does when I have makeup on. And that's normally like what can tell me is like if my lipstick looks a little bit different. So let's do some rundowns. Let's start off with the Fenty Beauty one since that's the one I applied first. This one left me, of course, wanting more. I'm sure that you noticed that from the application portion. This claims to be medium to full coverage. I don't think it is if you used a brush. I don't really think it is if you use a sponge too, because you can still kind of see like the redness peeking through. It's not super full coverage. You can definitely see like my imperfections. I was really wanting more, especially for how expensive this is. I will update you guys in a future video with just applying both of these with just the sponges in here, not the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. But with the brush, not full coverage at all. I kept building and building and building and nothing was happening except for just more makeup on my face, like no coverage was added. It says it also has a flawless filter effect. I guess I could see that because it does kind of blur your pores. I think this is something more that would go on top of a foundation over just alone, which is not how I think of powder foundations. I know you can use them like that, but that's not how I think they should be marketed as. They should just be, you know, marketed as face powders, not powder foundations. So far, I really don't like this one. I don't think it's worth the money. Even without comparing it to the L'Oreal one, I think that this one is just not up there. Like I said, my favorite powder foundation is J-Cat, and I did a foundation or face-based Friday. Like that was a series I used to do. I did one on that like a couple years ago, and I'll link it in the eye and down below. And it is very full coverage. So yeah, I would pass on this. I am still gonna do a wear test to show you how it wears. I didn't put any like setting spray on or anything like that. I did put bronzer on, and the bronzer didn't really move it around underneath, which is good, especially with the fact that it wasn't super full coverage to begin with, so it didn't take any of the coverage that it did have away. So I'm gonna rate this a 3 out of 10. I don't know. Like, it does have the flawless filter effect. Just wouldn't buy this one, even if it does wear okay, because it's not as high coverage as I was hoping. The L'Oreal one, not super high coverage either. It is definitely higher coverage than the other one, and it takes less to get more coverage, but it doesn't initially have like as full coverage as I was hoping, you know? So yeah, so far on the L'Oreal one, I would say that if you were to get one, go for the L'Oreal one because it's cheaper anyway, and they look pretty similar on the skin. I will say that. Like, it doesn't really look like I'm wearing two different foundations except for a slight shade difference. But this one is more worth it to me for sure, especially with the price, and it does provide just a little bit more coverage, but I would still rate it like a 5 out of 10 because it doesn't have as high coverage as I want. It's already falling into a smile line over here, which doesn't happen with my JCat one. But that's kind of how I'm feeling so far. I will do check-ins throughout the day. By the way, it is 12:20 right now, so I'll try to do check-ins like every 2 hours up until I go to take the makeup off. So yeah, I will see you guys in the first check-in. Gosh, this natural lighting is actually making this look so much better. But you can see like my pigmentation through. This is the L'Oreal side, and then this is the Fenty side. There's obviously like a little bit of pimple, a pimple like scar, and also another scar. So it's not full coverage with a brush for sure. I definitely think that the puff that comes with each of them helps. This is uncomfortably close for me. But there's some dry patches that they're clinging to. It didn't do a whole lot of full coverage with the redness on my nose. So I did want to show you that. Sorry that the natural lighting makes this look better. I almost think like right now I like it better in the natural lighting. So I'm going to go check in a mirror and see if I do. So I just checked in a mirror. It does definitely look better in natural lighting than it does in artificial lighting. That is the problem with artificial lighting. It's just the best I could do since it's so dreary and rainy out today. So it does look better in natural lighting for sure, so that's actually a good thing. It's better to look better in natural lighting than it is in artificial lighting, but I still think with how much work it took that neither of them are my favorite, especially the Fenty one because of the price. However, I do appreciate the extensive shade range. Of course, that is a Fenty signature, and L'Oreal only has 16 shades, so I definitely think they need to launch more. Hey guys, welcome to check-in number 1. It is 2:20, so it is 2 hours from when I finished the video, first like application portion, I think. So this is what it's looking like. It actually looks pretty good in here, like both of them do. This is the L'Oreal side. This is the Fenty side. Lighting in here, which is just like, you know, normal lighting, makes it look pretty good, but I can still see my dry patches, and I've noticed that on the Fenty side my skin has kind of itched a little bit, so I don't know if that's just like a placebo effect and I'm like making it up in my head or something, but it does like seem to be a little itchy over here, especially like where I've had like previous breakouts. So there is that to note. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I'm not having like an allergic reaction because I just kind of got my skin to where it's almost like recovered from the big purge that it had. So I have a doggo on me. Anyway, so yeah, not a whole lot has changed in the smile line area, so that's actually good. I'm surprised. But anyway, just wanted to do a quick little check-in. I will see you guys in a couple of hours. What are you doing, little girl? Are you a baby dog? Oh yes, I love you. Okay. Hey guys, so welcome to check-in number 2. I'm actually organizing my old room. That's why it's purple. And I'm going to be turning it into my filming room. It may get painted at some point. I'm not really sure. I don't hate the purple for filming, but I wasn't super pumped about the filming setup I had today because the mirror behind me was reflecting all of the crap on my bed. My old bed. It was like kind of annoying. But I'm just trying to like get it straightened out, so hopefully in future videos it will look better. But anyway, enough with the babbling. I'm going to do a quick little check-in, obviously. So here are the foundations. We have the L'Oreal one on this side and the Fenty one on this side. I actually looked in the mirror to do this, and I didn't hate the way it looked. I think that these definitely like kind of melt into your skin the longer they're on. So they both look pretty identical in the finish. They are wearing off a little bit because my nose has been running. So there is that, but that happens with like every foundation. The burning on the Fenty side has not continued. It lasted for a little bit, but then it went away. So that's good. Hopefully, even still, it didn't cause like a rash or something. I haven't noticed any like textural changes or anything on that side of my face. But not a whole lot has changed really, just a little bit more like falling into my smile lines, but not as much as I was thinking because of the initial application with them falling my smile lines. So that's good. It has been on for about 4 hours now, so this isn't a super long wear test yet, so we'll have to see how it wears like as the day continues. All right, so it's a final check-in. It is 9:30 right now, so I've had this on for 9 hours. The makeup is completely falling apart. It started falling apart soon after my last check-in, which was actually at 4:20, I believe. so it doesn't last very long. But you can see, like, look at like all the creasing, and like it's just showing on my dry patches. But if you're wearing it for a very short period of time, it's not bad, but there's not really much left to it after the 4-hour mark. So yeah, in terms of if I think you need to spend the money on Fenty, I stick with what I said at the beginning. I don't think you need to. I just think that like the L'Oreal one is just as good. The only thing that I would say is if you do have like a skin tone that's not in the L'Oreal line, then I would try the Fenty one if you're into that. However, just keep in mind that it is not full coverage like it says it is off the like first 10 layers. Would definitely suggest using, I mean, I need to try it by itself, but just use the puff or like the thing that comes with it on both of them, because I think that that's how you get the most coverage. I don't suggest a brush because I just don't think that it's concentrated enough on the actual applicator to really have any coverage. So there is that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell down below so you know when I upload in the future. And please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!